what's a perfectly productive day in the life of Jeff Bezos? You're one of the most productive humans in the world.
Well, first of all, I get up in the morning and I putter. I have a coffee.
Can you define putter?
Just like I slowly move around. I'm not as productive as you might think I am. I mean, because I do believe in wandering, and I read my phone for a while. I read newspapers for a while. I chat with Lauren. I drink my first coffee. So I move pretty slowly in the first couple of hours. I get up early, just naturally, and then, I exercise most days, and most days it's not that hard for me. Some days it's really hard, and I do it anyway. I don't want to, and it's painful, and I'm like, why am I here? And I don't want to do.
I mean, why am I here at the gym?
Why am I here at the gym? Why don't I do something else? It's not always easy.
What's your source of motivation in those moments?
I know that I'll feel better later if I do it. And so like the real source of motivation, I can tell the days when I skip it. Mm-hmm. I'm not quite as alert. I don't feel as good. And then there's harder motivations. It's longer term. You want to be healthy as you age. You want health span. Ideally, you want to be healthy and moving around when you're 80 years old, and so there's a lot of, but that kind of motivation is so far in the future, it can be very hard to work in the second. Yeah. So thinking about the fact I'll feel better in about 4 hours if I do it now, I'll have more energy for the rest of my day, and so on and so on.
What's your exercise routine, just to linger on that? How much you curl? I mean, what are we talking about here? That's all I do at the gym. So
my routine, on a good day, I do about half an hour of cardio, and I do about 45 minutes of weightlifting, resistance training of some kind, mostly weights. I have a trainer who, I love, who pushes me, which is really helpful. I'll be like, he'll say, Jeff, do you think can we go up on that weight a little bit? And I'll think about it, and I'll be like, no, I don't think so. And he'll look at me and say, yeah, I think you can. And of course he's right.
Yeah, of course.
So it's helpful to have somebody push you a little bit.
But almost every day you do that.
I do almost every day. I do a little bit of cardio and a little bit of weightlifting, and I'd rotate. I do a pulling day and a pushing day and a leg day. It's all pretty standard stuff.
So puttering, coffee, gym,
and then work.
So what's work look like? What are the productive hours look like for you?
Most of my time is spent on Blue Origin, and I'm so deeply involved here now for the last couple of years. And in the big, I love it. In the small, there's all the frustrations that come along with everything. We're trying to get to rate manufacturing, as we talked about. That's super important. We'll get there. We just hired a new CEO, a guy I've known for close to 15 years now, a guy named Dave Limp, who I love. He's amazing, so we're super lucky to have Dave, and, you're going to see us move faster there. But so my day of work, reading documents, having meetings, sometimes in person, sometimes over Zoom, depends on where I am. It's all about, the technology. It's about the organization. It's about, I'm very, I have architecture and technology meetings almost every day on various subsystems inside the vehicle, inside the engines. It's super fun for me. My favorite part of it is the technology. My least favorite part of it is, building organizations and so on. That's important, but it's also my least favorite part. So, that's why they call it work. You don't always get to do what you want to do.
How do you achieve time where you can focus and truly think through problems?
I do little thinking retreats. So this is not the only, I can do that all day long. I'm very good at focusing. I'm very good at, I don't keep to a strict schedule. Like my meetings often go longer than I plan for them to, because I believe in wandering. My perfect meeting starts with a crisp document. So the document should be written with such clarity that it's like angels singing from on high. I like a crisp document and a messy meeting. And so the meeting is about like asking questions that nobody knows the answer to, and trying to like wander your way to a solution. And because and that is, when that happens just right, it makes all the other meetings worthwhile. It feels good. It has a kind of beauty to it. It has an aesthetic beauty to it, and you get real breakthroughs in meetings like that.
Can you actually describe the crisp document? Like, this is one of the legendary aspects of Amazon, of the way you approach meetings. This is the 6-page memo. Maybe first describe the process of running a meeting with memos. And
meetings at Amazon and at Blue Origin are unusual. When we get when new people come in, like a new executive joins, they're a little taken aback sometimes, because a typical meeting will start with a 6-page narratively structured memo, and we do study hall. For 30 minutes, we sit there silently together in the meeting and read. Take notes in the margins, and then we discuss. And the reason, by the way, we do study, you could say, I would like everybody to read these memos in advance, but the problem is people don't have time to do that, and they end up coming to the meeting having only skimmed the memo, or maybe not read it at all, and they're trying to catch up, and they're also bluffing like they were in college, having pretended to do the reading.
Yeah. Exactly.
It's better just to carve out the time for people
and do it.
So now
together.
We're all on the same page. We've all read the memo. And now we can have a really elevated discussion. And this is so much better from having a slideshow presentation, a PowerPoint presentation of some kind, where that has so many difficulties. But one of the problems is PowerPoint is really designed to persuade. It's kind of a sales tool. And internally, the last thing you want to do is sell. You're truth seeking. You're trying to find truth. And the other problem with PowerPoint is it's easy for the author and hard for the audience. And a memo is the opposite. It's hard to write a 6-page memo. A good 6-page memo might take 2 weeks to write. You have to write it, you have to rewrite it, you have to edit it, you have to talk to people about it, they have to poke holes in it for you. You write it again. It might take 2 weeks. So the author, it's really a very difficult job. But for the audience, it's much better. So you can read a half hour, and if you read the whole memo in advance, I often write lots of questions that I have in the margins of these memos, and then I go cross them all out, because by the time I get to the end of the memo, they've been answered. That's why I save all that time. You also get, if the person who's preparing the memo, we talked earlier about groupthink, and the fact that I go last in meetings, and that you don't want your ideas to kind of pollute the meeting prematurely. The author of the memo has kind of got to be very vulnerable.
What's that feel like when you've authored a thing and then you're sitting there and everybody's reading your thing? You're like,
I think it's mostly terrifying.
Yeah. Like maybe in a good way.
I think it's
like a purifying.
I think it's terrifying in a productive way.
Yeah.
But I think it's emotionally a very nerve-wracking experience. It's really got to be a real memo. So it means, paragraphs have topic sentences, it's verbs and nouns. That's the other problem with PowerPoint presentations. They're often just bullet points, and you can hide a lot of sloppy thinking behind bullet points. When you have to write in complete sentences with narrative structure, it's really hard to hide sloppy thinking. So it forces the author to be at their best. And so they're getting somebody's really their best thinking. And then you don't have to spend a lot of time trying to tease that thinking out of the person. You've got it from the very beginning. So it really saves you time in the long run.